What? What am I looking at here? All right, let's see. Oh, come on. Okay, bam, bam. Copy, copy. Okay, bam, 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 pin. What am I missing here? Oh, right. Hold on. There we go. Bam. Stop. Delete. Remove source. Auto find and activate. Auto find and activate. Okay. Pause. 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 Share. Bang, 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 bang. Come on. Okay. All right. Let's see. What up, Holio? Oops, wrong thing. Bam. How you doing, brother? What up? Okay, let's see. What am I missing here? Doing good, doing good. How you doing, my brethren? Appearance. I'm trying to find a video I wanted to watch. Oh, jeez. Skin wraps. What? What up, Catrip? Let's see. Where was it? History. All right, let's watch this. I'm doing all the right things. Some things are bad, sometimes are good. Life is not perfect. Right? Yeah, absolutely not. Right? Absolutely. So, you've got to work towards more good than bad. You know, absolutely. If you look at how life is now, you're not looking at now. You're looking at the decisions you made previously and the results of those decisions. So now refocus on a year from now. How do you want to act? What do you want to do a year from now? How do you want to treat people out? What's your finances? What you want to do a year from now? And then the decisions you make. This is why a lot of people, they only wait till one day to do that. They say, oh, New Year's, you know what, freaking 9 more months, 10 more months, 9 more months. They'll be like, I'll make a New Year's resolution. So they push it off, and then you should do that every day. I'm going to have tortellini. That's good stuff. Yeah, boy. Tortellini. I want you guys to see this real quick. Wait till you see this crazy chick. She got a bunch of tattoos, I guess, when she was young, and then she thought it was a good idea to just get the whole sleeve turned black, and now she's getting the whole thing removed, and it looks so freaking painful. And then this other chick got sideburns tattooed on. New Year's, everything's a scam. You're crazy for platanos? I'm crazy for plantains? Platanos? What's platanos? I don't even know what that is. Platanos? Platanos? Oh, plantains. Yeah. Plantains. Yeah, I love them too. They're good, boy. Yeah, they good. I'm a big fan myself.
Two, one. Okay? Yeah. Here we go.
I guess she doesn't want peace no more. Oh, I guess it's supposed to be. Oh, jeez, what a horrible tattoo. Not that it's a peace sign. That it's just.
3, 2, 1.
Look,
Okay. Yeah.
that's so crazy. Oh, it's supposed to be a Louis Vuitton strap as a.
Done.
Watch this.
Okay.
Look at this. Look at that. She got the whole thing filled in. And now she's got to remove it all. That's going to turn into one big, huge blister. Her elbow, everything. That's so crazy.
2, 1.
I'm guessing that was supposed to be, that peace sign was probably a cover up of something, because it looks like it was either a cross to begin with, or she tried to make it the Eiffel Tower. It's definitely homemade. No, it's not AI. No. It's tattoo removal. What up, Sack? Listen, a lot of people, the anti-white racists, the people that don't like white people, but white people that are convinced not to like themselves, have gotten blackout tattoos to be allies for other racists. It's crazy. But some people get stupid stuff because we all age, we all mature as when we get older. And so the reason you don't want to put the things on your skin is because that changes. Makeup, you can change every day. But when you put a tattoo on yourself, like, dude, so many people, like, I've seen people that get, people, they get out of high school and they decide everybody's a Democrat in high school. Everybody, 90% of people, or they're at least liberals, right? But then liberals, they start to make money and they don't want the money tax and they become conservatives. And then so it's like, but they'll get like Kamala Harris tattoos, and even 30 years ago, whoever, like Obama tattoos and stuff like that. And then you find out what bad stuff they've done. And then you got to get it off you. So people get like whole sleeves of different stuff. And then it's just like, oh, well, it's too expensive to get removed. So they get the whole sleeve done. Like blacked out. And then, like, what was that one guy, the rapper that like beefed with Eminem, Machine Gun Kelly? He got his whole body blacked out. Yeah, I never did either. Just get the jewelry, dude. Yeah, it's like you can, like, I would just get, remember charm bracelets and charm necklaces? I'd get something like that, because then you can just add to it and take away from it as you grow. I pay attention to where you put that cross so it doesn't go upside down. Right. People don't think about stuff like that. They don't think about anything. They don't think about nothing like that. Yeah, they just like, they're at some party and they're all lit up and everybody, and then a guy with a tattoo gun shows up and they're like, oh, he's cute. I know how I can get him to talk to me. I'll get him to tattoo freaking Louis Vuitton on my... People make poor decisions, especially when drunk. Let's see. I watched a really good video. Yeah, it's all crap. It's all crap. Why are you paying other people to put stuff on your body? If you want a tattoo, learn it. Learn how to tattoo. Get a tattoo gun. Do all that. But no, do it. You're convincing somebody else to put something on your body, and then when it's your fault, people do that because they want somebody to blame. My tattoo artist sucked. It was you went in there. What's up, Sack? Let me see if I can find it. Oh man. Oh, check this out. Calcium. So you know how if you guys don't know how acetylene's made, you take a calcium carbide, and if you put it in water, it turns into acetylene gas. Well, this guy added it to hydrogen peroxide. Check this out.
This is hydrogen peroxide with a concentration of about 30%.
All right, hold on. Let me shrink this down a little bit.
And this is calcium carbide. Calcium carbide reacts with hydrogen peroxide just like it does with water, producing flammable acetylene gas, which ignites easily.
You can tell
but
by
now,
the
before
sooty flame.
ignite the acetylene, I'll add just a few crystals of potassium permanganate to the hydrogen peroxide.
A couple of crystals of
and let's see
potassium
what happens.
permanganate. And then that's releasing a lot of oxygen. So now you have oxygen and acetylene gas. It scared the shit out of me when I saw it. Freaking crazy.
This is hydrogen peroxide with a concentration of about 30%. And this is calcium carbide. Calcium carbide reacts with hydrogen peroxide just...
That's so crazy. Any news on what, brother? Yeah, it's scary. Yeah, dude. I remember when I took welding in high school, we had to learn like the difference between, because you have, acetylene gas and oxygen that goes into your torch, and you have a knob for each. But if you mix acetylene and oxygen together, it's like 100 times more explosive. Yeah, safety. Yeah, you can't do science dead, right? Safety first. But this guy's awesome. Chemical force. This acid will explode your cookie.
This creepy white smoke is simply perchloric acid vapor. This clear liquid can instantly set your clothes on fire.
Yeah, so
but
much
look
for
what
gloves.
it does to an Oreo cookie.
Sugar. Damn, it broke the tile. So once it got to the sugar, man, it broke the freaking tile. Ever hug your sister for longer than you consider normal? Nope, she'd punch me, John Goldie. We break it bad.
Is simply perchloric acid vapor.
That's what happens when you eat Taco
This
Bell.
clear liquid.
Yeah, chemistry is the greatest thing. Yeah, no, they're good. They're good. Too much white smoke.
This is an ampule containing the most reactive metal, cesium. In chemistry, there is a common myth that cesium, being the most reactive metal in the world, will instantly ignite upon contact with air. But what really happens when you break an ampule of cesium?
Water in the air. That's a lot of cesium. Good quality.
The reaction of cesium with air generates heat, causing the metal to melt and fall out of the ampule. However, it doesn't ignite instantly. Very often, it doesn't ignite at all. Instead, cesium gradually transforms into a mixture of cesium oxides and peroxides.
That's probably like $3,000 worth of cesium right there. I'm wondering what effects will
This is an ampule containing the most reactive metal,
Mercury's
cesium, in chemistry.
diamagnetic. So you can mix other things with mercury. Mercury reaction to magnet. Because it's conductive. You can use it to transfer electricity into your motor. I'll show you this real quick.
Mercury be made into a motor. That's exactly what Michael Faraday thought and tried to demonstrate back in 1821. Mercury is a liquid metal at room temperature, and being a metal means it can conduct electricity through it. So Faraday took a magnet and placed it into a pool of mercury.
All right.
He then placed a wire into the pool.
So notice that the magnetic field's not doing anything with mercury because mercury doesn't have any iron in it. It doesn't have any it's not ferrous, right? So, but it conducts electricity.
And another free-moving one next to the magnet.
Watch
then,
this.
when we pass electricity through the wire, it creates a circular magnetic field
stir
around the
bar.
wire. This magnetic field interacts with the magnet's magnetic field.
So this is how you can
causes the
see
wire to spin
magnetic
around the
fields. This
magnet.
is how in the 1800s they could start telling how magnetic fields were before we had like devices that could see magnetic
Through this
fields.
remarkable demonstration, Faraday converted electrical energy into mechanical motion, proving an important principle: electricity into motion. But this works backwards as well. We can take motion and turn it into electricity in generators, essentially big electric motors.
Oh, I thought he was going to get into it. Hello, Walmart version of Bill Nye the Science Guy. What up, yabba dabba doo? I think he just straight up forgot. Let him know. I guarantee he's hungry. Ferrofluids.
Something crazy? This oily liquid doesn't look very exciting at first, but when placed near a magnet, it transforms into these crazy shapes. This liquid is called ferrofluid, which is a carefully engineered material composed of ferromagnetic particles suspended in oil. Whether it's a permanent magnet or an electromagnet, ferrofluid makes it possible to visualize magnetic fields through a phenomenon called normal field instability, and this is what causes all those crazy peaks and valleys to form. I'm sure you're wondering, what does it feel like? It's not sharp like those spikes make it seem. However, it does strongly push against my finger when I poke it. In fact, it feels kind of like rubber, to be honest. When close to a magnet like this, I can even give it a spin, but it falls apart as soon as I pull the magnet away.
That's so cool.
Another cool trick is to
Modern
magnetize something
Goldeneye.
like this bolt here,
Makes your
and then
skin
drop
crawl. Yes,
ferrofluid on
pyro.
it. The bolt sucks in the fluid like a vacuum, and it begins spinning its way along the threads where the field gradient is the strongest. I can actually get an impressive amount of ferrofluid to stick this way. But of course, it all falls off when I pull the magnet away. Pretty cool, right?
Pretty cool, right? Yeah, ferrofluids are pretty freaking cool. Ferrofluids. Ferrofluids, so it looks, imagine a medieval knight armor made of hardened ferrofluids. Dude, could you imagine how heavy that would be? Like, because you need the magnets and the ferrofluid. I wonder if someone shot at it. Some rednecks definitely shot at it. I guarantee it. I hope there's a video.
Ferrofluid, this stuff. It's a liquid that reacts to magnets, and then back to being a liquid, and then back to those crazy alien spikes. But what happens when we mix ferrofluid with this stuff? Don't try this out. Cracking the glass vial for that chemiluminescence.
Get a lineup.
Now, dim the lights.
Lineup.
The first interesting physics happening here is that the spikes point along the direction of the magnetic field lines coming from the magnet. As I bring the magnet up like this, the field lines go upward out of the magnet, and so do the spikes. You can see the direction of the magnetic field. As I turn the magnet like this, the spikes follow the magnetic field lines. Ferrofluid must have some kind of magnetic metal in it, like magnetite. The spikes in the ferrofluid form because of the balance between the gravitational pull keeping the liquid down flat, the surface tension, which wants to minimize the surface area.
Yeah, dude, my hair is like the least thing. I for some reason I'm the opposite of what's the thing that trans people get? Body dysmorphia, whatever. Like when I look in the mirror, I don't like, I'm not like, oh my God, my hair, my boobs, my body. I don't know if it's some sort of retardation I have or whatnot. I don't know. But I got, like, people have to tell me, you need to brush your hair. I'm like, what do you mean? What's wrong with my hair? Right? You know, like, I just don't, that part of my brain's broke. So that's why I can understand that if that's broken in my brain, then people can have the opposite of that. Like, very, like, you know, dysphoria, yeah. What did I say? Trapping LLM in a loop. What's a cool thing to add to the loop? See, so LLMs in a loop, the big thing is the power draw. So if you want the loop to do something, like trying to find the digits of pi to like a billion billion decimal places, or making some sort of Mandelbrot, you know what I'm talking? You know what Mandelbrot, the Mandelbrot set and the Mandelbrot images are? They're images that show mathematics. Let me show you. Want to debate my brother? Huh? No. What about what? About what? What's up, Harsh? What do I want to debate about? Disinfectants. All right, let me see. What do you go? I mean, yeah, we can talk about anything. I mean, I don't want to.
Country beginning with V.
Yes, Mandelbrot said I was thinking about maybe psychological more talking.
Finland.
Oh my days! Allow it! It's an F, blood!
Listen, I want to know where
What'd you
Finland is. V. Yeah. Venus.
Why are these guys still out
the
there?
Name of the invisible line that runs around the middle of the earth. Adiola.
It's a
There's
fractal.
nothing there.
Yes, fractal.
It's invisible. Basically, if something is invisible, you cannot see it. Therefore, it cannot be named. If it cannot be named, there is nothing to write down.
So air is just not a word then?
In what year did the first woman visit space?
Wait, what? 1960?
1983.
1983.
The average bra size in the UK is?
34 double D.
Correct.
Which century are we currently in? Adiola.
20 seconds.
Oh my goodness me!
2022, no.
Name a country.
Oh, dude, it hurts so bad. Fractals. There you go. And these are cool loops too, if we can find a looping fractal. Black wheel clear. My infinite patterns, yeah. So you just keep zooming in and zooming in and zooming in. And that, if you, I tell you what, if you want to make a malware for AI, this is what you would do. You would send it into a computational loop to try to solve, like, to I wouldn't know what to do with it right at this moment. I'd think about it, to like find the end of the fractal set, of the Mandelbrot set, and then it would just start adding more power, which would add complexity. I mean, obviously they would have programmed limits in to make sure you don't, but yeah, like you see, right, like it's telling you in the very beginning the equation that makes this set, like, and it's so that's the equation right there, and that fractals recovering brain rot. Yeah, I'm doing the opposite. Oh, jeez, dude, this is so bad, man.
On this map. Honestly, my geography is so horrible. I can't name anything. Like nothing. Is it South Africa? Nope.
What language do you speak in Europe?
European.
What flag is this?
All day we
China.
have
What the hell, Chrissy? Wait, it's not? No.
Name a
Fibonacci.
in Africa.
There's no countries in Africa, right?
Can you name it?
Jeez. Yeah, the Fibonacci sequence, yeah. Fibonacci sequence. Not Nazi sequence, Fibonacci. I want to find an actual...
If you look closely at a sunflower head, you might notice that the seeds...
This is the things that make it so interesting, where like you just by being in nature, the complex maths are there. You're not figuring it out. You're discovering that it's already there, right? And that's what's amazing about things like this.
A spiral pattern. And these spirals are a cool example of the Fibonacci sequence, or the golden ratio. And if you don't know what that is, the Fibonacci sequence is a series of numbers that goes something like 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, and so on, where each number represents the sum of the previous two. And if we count these spirals, you'll see that there are 34 going one way and 55 going the other way. And these are both numbers that appear back to back in the Fibonacci sequence. Some sunflowers will have a different number of spirals, but they'll almost always match a pair of consecutive Fibonacci numbers. It's not just sunflowers though, you'll find these numbers in other things too, like the amount of petals or seeds on many different types of flowers, or the number of spirals on pine cones, pineapples, and aloes, just to name a few.
You'd call
this
it
occurrence
maths.
is a fascinating example of mathematical patterns manifesting in the natural world.
Right, so that stuff's awesome. So the problem with infinity is no matter where you start, there's always an infinite amount of numbers before and after where you start. So you have to choose. This is why there's no true random number generation. It's seeded random number generators. You can't have a true random number generator. I actually was tasked 15 years ago working on a very special project. No, 20 years ago. It was before I was in the movies. 20 years ago, to try to make a random number generator for encryption in order to try to protect valuable data sets and network pieces of network hardware and whatnot, servers. Even leaves are beautiful. Snowflakes. Yeah. Let's try to find something cool. Fibonacci in nature.
Protect your family's dreams under our roof. American Family Insurance.
I want to show you something, and then I want to talk about
mold.
it.
Yeah, there you go.
I want you to pay attention to the geometry.
Infinity to exist, does it require to have a start or just exist? So infinity, yes, infinity exists inside of our reality. Like yeah, but it's got to be defined, and that's the odd thing about definitions in science. Like you don't say 6 times infinity. That's just like saying 6 times 1 is 6 or 6 times 0. So is 0 infinity because it's nothing and everything? You can't divide by 0. It can get really complicated. And usually people start just yelling at each other. Why is recognizing patterns in nature considered some great discovery? How does that help us? Like, of course, there are crazy psychological patterns. How does it work? Because it actually, like what's happening here. The way we found the Fibonacci sequence was by Fibonacci doing math, and then he figured then after that was, hey, I found out this sequence taking a number, adding it to the previous number in the set. 0 plus 1 is 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 plus 2 is 5. And then those numbers are everywhere. When you go to look at so many things in nature automatically use that. So somebody said, hey, here's a cool little thing. And then we started finding it everywhere. And then when you draw it out and you make the golden ratio, that like almost everything in nature follows that golden ratio like it was designed. But let's look into this. I don't know what this is all about. We'll see.
The spirals, the shapes.
Yeah, but it's just interesting. So you don't need to learn math from a textbook. You can learn math from nature. You can like how did Isaac Newton discover gravity from a falling apple? Because an apple fell, and then he said, why does that happen? Right? So he didn't say, how does gravity work? Let me get on the internet. So the information is already here. We're just seeing it through a different lens. To answer your question, we must know who you are, your persona. It's cool, but what are you talking about?
See in between all of the little bumps on this cactus. This is an example of a plant that grows and shows the golden ratio, or what's sometimes called a Fibonacci
natural beauty are the
sequence.
Kardashians.
And it's pretty pronounced in some plants, but in other plants, while it might be there, it's a little bit harder to identify. Now, what causes this is that as the plant's growing, when it's going to put on a new leaf, it pretty much has to decide which direction is this leaf going to go as it comes out of the main stem.
Right, like it was predetermined. So why don't we see plants with leaves all on one side? Why do they spiral out and at the same angles from each other? Like what is these laws of nature, we call them? And that's why it's so damn interesting, because how did we not notice that until someone said, hey, I've come up with this sequence? And then other people were like, hey, I learned that sequence in school, and look at this. I counted the numbers of freaking seeds on a freaking, and it's just really cool that you see how education doesn't come from humans. It comes from it comes from the natural element, and then we just recognize it in there. Like going back to what's his face, Isaac Newton. He invented calculus, but calculus always existed in nature. Like he says, these are the numbers on the page that say that's why this is the way it is, and that formula existed in nature before it existed on paper.
So will the
not Kardashian
go this way, or will it go that way, or this way? It looks like this one's already made up its mind, and it's going to come back this direction towards me. And that's because this type of geometry actually makes for a very efficient way to capture sunlight so that the plant can get as much energy.
You don't want the leaf above the leaf above it putting shade on the leaf below it, right? So it does that. And how does it know that? Because the leaf's not there already, and there's no brain, and it just happens. It's part of the laws of nature, right? Math isn't an invention; it's a language. That's exactly right. That's right. What up, Peter Toth? Pierre Tosh, I look like Keanu. Back to Apple's falling share prices. Math is a language to describe natural patterns. That's correct. Yep. Newton, Fig Newton, Apple Newton.
It's possible from the sun. So I want you to try to look at the base of these leaves as we look down the main stem, and you'll see that they don't line up exactly together. They're all a little bit offset from the one above them or below them. And that's because if this leaf would have come out directly on top of the other leaf, it would be shading it so that way this leaf could no longer catch sunlight. So the plants do this so that way the new leaves aren't covering up all of the hard work they have in those older leaves. And then as a whole, this plant is able to catch a lot of sunlight because it's got an optimal leaf pattern that's going to spread out and allow the sun to catch it from different angles.
So then when we design things, we can take directly from nature rather than just trying and what's it called? Can't remember the term I was about to use. But we know that nature did it the most efficient way, and we can prove that with math. You know, and it's just super amazing. It's super amazing how that stuff works.
And as you start to pay attention
you can
to
trap
all
magnetic field
kinds of
magnet over
different
time,
plants,
duplicate the original
you'll start
magnet.
to see this pattern emerging all over the world. And that's just another fun and awesome
it's
thing
transfer of energy. Energy can't be created or destroyed, but it can be converted or transferred. All right, brother Julio.
Plants.
All right, let me see. I was hoping to find a better. Come on.
The sequence begins with the numbers 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, and continues indefinitely. Each number is...
we need to keep in accordance with natural law and work with the grain of nature instead of against it. I'm talking to you, transgender commentators. Right. And so what happens when we go against that, when politicians take something away from the natural order and then try to sell it back to you? Like, oh, you can't be a woman, but we can sell you a bunch of stuff to make you be a woman. And so much so that if you buy enough hormones and surgery, we'll even make it law that we have to call you a woman or a man or whatever. Right? That's the problem. It shouldn't be in politics. But they make problems that the government makes problems that they have companies to fix. So they create a problem. They work with a bunch of companies to solve the problem they created by taking something out of nature. And we do it with food all the time. We take nutrition out of food, sell you crappy food, and then sell you the nutrition separately, even though it was already in the food to begin with. Yeah, it's taking something out of nature. I think plants are semi-autonomous. Yeah, they absolutely are. Yeah, nature is based. Last time you said stealing energy from time. Last sense. Nature is right wing. Nature is right. Being in time, stealing some theory. Help me out here, brother. I'm a little lost right there. Parts sold separately. Right, and that's the problem. They like, people shouldn't be screwed with, but they say, hey, there's this trans thing. How do we get the most money and power possible off of this? And then they make it go absolutely crazy. But the devil is a deceiver. Absolutely. And then so they deceive. They tell you you're wrong. You didn't learn enough in school. We're telling you this is the way it is now, and we're going to make it law until you learn it. And they just, that's a big problem. Being in time equals stealing energy. Oh, I thought you said a theory that I said. Right. Yeah.
It's obtained by adding the last two digits together. If we were to take a perfect or golden rectangle, break it down into smaller squares based on Fibonacci's sequence, and divide each with an arc, the patterns begin to take shape. We begin to see Fibonacci's spiral. The spiral in and of itself is insignificant. Its importance is revealed in where we find it.
Right, everywhere.
For example, the sunflower. The display of its florets are in perfect spirals of 55, 34, and 21. the sequence of Fibonacci. The fruitlets of the pineapple create this same spiral based on the sequence.
Did you know they
the
were
pine
called
cone does
fruitlets?
the same.
Spiral of insanity.
As currents move through the ocean and the tide rolls onto the shore, the waves that bring in the tide curve into a spiral that can be mathematically diagrammed onto a plot at the points 1, 1, 2, 3, 5,
This
8,
also explains
13,
why the solar system works
21,
with the
34,
Right,
and
right. The biggest things in the universe and the smallest. The patterns that we see in the stars and galaxies and nebula, and in the smallest thing, the way electrons flow around atoms and whatnot. Yes, it's the same math on a different scale. And that's the interesting thing about Fibonacci is when you talk about the golden ratio, it starts very small at the subatomic or the atomic subatomic level, then goes to the DNA level, and then goes bigger. It goes out, and it's absolutely fascinating that this is the type of stuff that should be put into kids' minds very young, so that they see nature. They see nature and as math.
55.
Micro to
Buds
macro.
on trees, sand dollars,
fingerprints,
starfish,
All
petals
hail
on
knowledge,
flowers,
absolutely.
and especially the nautilus shell are formed with this exact
Like,
same
look at
blueprint.
that. Look at that. That's so freaking crazy. Oh, let me go to here. Hold on. Let me go to YouTube real quick.
Blueprint. With each segment of growth, the nautilus adds to itself one more value on Fibonacci's scale. This blueprint can be seen around us on a small scale every day, but the greatest example of all is directly above our heads. At an average of 100,000 light years across, even the spiral of the galaxies above us are formed with the exact design that the tiny shell is formed. This sequence, or blueprint, appears to be the trademark of a designer.
Right, but you start talking about that, and people are like, freaking religious, freaking fairy tale. Okay, you solve it for it. You solve it for it. And dude, there's a very, 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 very interesting thing that I learned when I started studying chemistry, and I say it on stream pretty often. Like, if you have a petri dish and you take a cell out of your body and put it in the petri dish, and that cell is alive, and you could scan the cell and say it's got this much carbon, this much potassium, this much sodium, whatever. When the cell dies, the scan result will say the same thing. No chemicals have changed. Nothing. No chemicals have left that dish. So what's the difference? So if you could build a cell, what chemical would you add to that cell to make it alive? Right? So that's the very interesting thing. So even if you could chemically in a lab build a cell, it's not alive. It's still a dead cell. So what's the difference chemically? And this is the problem with biologists. Biologists don't go down that small. They start evolution with something already existing. Oh, well, we had a bug here. Well, how did the bug get here? What's the bug made out of? It's made out of a single cell. Well, how did that cell get made? Some chemicals rolled up, right? Because they don't understand chemistry, especially, it drives me crazy. These facts directly point, exactly. And we get told, because it's such big industry, to look to people for answers of how it was made, and they can make a bunch of money. It's a scam. They can just say, we'll figure out how nature made itself. Just give me enough money and enough time. And then after they get 50 years of free money and free time, the next person that picks up on that end gets another 50 years of free money and free time. It's complicated, but it's not that complicated. Like the point that we are created. But the thing is, you can find creationists that can explain all of this to you. But the problem is, usually, because we learn from schools that have separated church and state, that you don't even consider it an option. Yeah, it's over complicated. Our teachers teach us that it's so complex that oh, give me enough money and give these people enough money and they'll figure it out because they're smarter than you. And then you have somebody say like, no, it looks like we're created, but I'm confident that we're created. They're like, you're dumb. You're just too stupid. It's common sense that God is very right. Yeah, very real. Very, listen, and the thing is, there's a lot, just as much data, or as much videos out there of people saying God's not real. There's also people out there that say God is real. Like, here, let me find something. Let me see if I can find something real quick. And even if you just talk like they won't talk to you about religion, but they'll just say, yeah, we're 100% created, whether we're aliens or we're from aliens or from a simulation or whatever. Yeah, we're this isn't accidental. Like the problem is we hear from biologists that this is how we got here, but chemists say no, that can't happen. And they're just like they don't talk about the chemistry. They're like, well, I'm a biologist. I talk about biology. I'm an expert in biology, right? But the chemistry has to be there before the biology can start. Our existence is proof, right? Our existence is proof. Absolutely. I was busy eating. I'm back. All you need to do is spend a little time in nature. 100%. And you get all these people that are born, bred, and spread in cities, and then die, and they never learn. What you ate, Catra? She ate the cat. All right, let me see if I can find it. Sorry. Let me see if I can find something here. Oh, this is good. Check this out. This'll put you on the correct path. Check this out. What are thoughts made of? Okay, so let's talk about this. What are thoughts made of? So if you got a body scan right now and it said how much potassium and sodium and whatever your body you had in your body, and then you learn something, the chemistry hasn't changed. So what is a thought? What is a thought? If a thought isn't a chemical reaction making chemicals, what is a thought? Right? Why can you think? Well, you can think because blah, blah. But are thoughts made of atoms? Did new atoms come in that gave you the new thought? Or is it a field? What is consciousness? Okay, let's see what this guy has to say. Hopefully he's not like, we're all Satanists or something. We'll find out.
This question might sound stupid on the surface, but it's actually one of the most profound questions we can ask. Are your thoughts made of atoms? At first, this sounds obvious. Your brain is made of atoms.
What up, fish sticks? Thank you, brother. Sorry. Most inventions based on nature. That's right. That's all successful ones. What up, Sandra? Oh, shoot, that was a good setup for your mom joke. Yeah. We good. What up, fish sticks? All right, here we go. All right, so what are thoughts made of, right? Are they made of atoms? Are they made of chemicals? What chemicals did you get in your body, and why can you remember things? Where is the knowledge stored? It's stored in your brain. How? Is it the chemistry didn't change? Possessing 200,000 jokes in one file. That's right. That's what we can do. Watch this. Watch.
This question might sound stupid on the surface, but it's actually one of the most profound questions we can ask. Are your thoughts made of atoms? At first, this sounds obvious. Your brain is made of atoms. Neurons are atoms. The electricity firing between those neurons is also atoms. But a thought isn't something physical. You can't hold it or weigh it.
Right. Glad you said that. Thoughts aren't physical. Thoughts are they're beyond physical. They're not beyond natural. They're supernatural. Just our thoughts. So we sit here think about things, but we don't need to change our chemistry as our thoughts change. But thoughts can change our chemistry. Thoughts can cause the release of hormones. Oh my God, I think I'm gonna die, and your heart starts beating faster. Like that, those chemical changes happen. But what is a thought?
Or put a memory under a microscope, and yet it is real, and you're having one right now. Atoms are the fundamental building blocks of the universe, and they combine to form molecules, cells, tissues, organs, and ultimately our entire body, including the brain. But somewhere along the way, something weird happens. Out of pure matter, experience appears. The experience of being you. Philosophers and neuroscientists call this the hard problem of consciousness, because the real mystery isn't how the brain works, it's how thoughts, feelings, the entire experience of being alive can emerge from physical processes in the brain. This question might sound stupid on the surface, but it's actually one of the most profound questions we can ask.
So think about that. What if we already have all the knowledge? Just like our DNA already has everything. like if our nose is big or our nose is small, that's in our DNA, but the big nose DNA is expressed. So what if knowledge and thoughts are already in us? Experiences and things just cause releases. And that's what's really cool when you start thinking about life like that. But you have to learn enough to get to the point to know what atoms are, to know how the brain works, to know how neurochemistry works, and then say, okay, thoughts aren't chemistry. The feelings we get from thoughts, or the reactions we get, the dopamine and stuff that's released from thoughts is, but the thought itself, why can we store it? Why can we change it? I know what you're feeling. I know what you're thinking. You know, stuff like that. Like it's like okay, Rupert Sheldrake. But that's just so awesome. This is the stuff that puts me on that start putting me on the path of we're more than what we seem. I wonder how long a bumblebee lives. I think it's 13 days. What's going on, Georgie? Let me see. Bumblebee's lifespan. Not Applebee's. Four to 6 weeks. Bumblebee has an annual life cycle where workers, males, typically live 4 to 6 weeks, while queens live up to a year, including the hibernation. They die off at the end of the summer. The queen survives winter, starts a new colony, then dies again. So yearly. The whole thing, everything's reset every year. This is real psychedelic stuff, right? Far future, someplace, some group, people have blueprint of human man and woman. Yeah, sure, right. But this is why it's interesting when you see what the old heads wrote down. Like when you look at the Bible and stuff, and it says you're made in God's image, and you're like, okay, but what does that mean? It's just old people talking old people stuff. But then you start thinking about it, and you say, okay, how do we get knowledge? Where does it come from? What gives us the thought? Is it that we're just opening what's already there? Like when you figure something out, like even when you figure something out with your hands, you're just like that. The thoughts, everything that you have to go through to make your brain and body work. It's absolute insanity, and I love it. I love. Look, I was anti-God for decades. You guys are idiots, you're stupid, you just haven't learned enough yet, science will prove you wrong. And then I was just like, I'll prove you wrong. And then I was like, oh man, hold on. And then so like I got into the whole deist part, like, okay, we're definitely created 100%. I've learned enough about physics, I've learned enough about mechanics, electricity, chemistry, biology, to get to the point where I'm like, when you start to realize that most people that are popular because of deception, and then you realize, okay, could he be lying? Could she be lying? What's the evidence for and against? And then you start to realize that when people are selling you courses and selling you education, they're polishing it up. They're saying they're telling you what makes it look good, why you want to buy this car, why you want to buy this house. And they don't say, well, there's also termite infestation. What up, Borchell? Life itself is psychedelic, absolutely. Real reset, time travel back, maybe new world, maybe we failed the moment. Science is our dumb way of explaining how stuff works, right? They say there is no why. There is no why. It's all a cosmic accident. But then when you look to see how they talk about creation, you ask a biologist about creation, he says the Big Bang. But you ask a chemist about creation, it's called abiogenesis. Abiogenesis is the creation of life from nothing. Like, okay, these asteroids have some chemical on them, great. But like I said, you can, if you look in a petri dish with a live cell in there, or you scan your whole body and you say it's got this much potassium, this much nitrogen, whatever. When you get a new thought, if someone speaks to you and says, hey, 75 times 100 is 7,500. You're like, oh, I didn't know that. Bam, you got that thought, you thought about it. What chemistry changed? All right? And then why do you know that forever? You know, until something eats your brain. Complicated yet. Whoever created this, how did they start? The most retarded take is it's all by chance. Right. Absolutely. Because the things like the Fibonacci sequence show you that it's not. They all follow a pattern. And one of the most interesting things is the spine. Like the spine doesn't change, and the spine hasn't evolved. Like it's still the same spine, and most things have the same number of bones. Like the same number of bones in a giraffe spine as a human. I'm almost positive. I might be wrong about that. Hold on. Number of bones in a giraffe spine compared to humans. It's still thinking. I think I broke it. Giraffes and humans have exactly 7 vertebrae, neck bones, common trait of all mammals. So it didn't. The size changed, but the number didn't. Evolution, you think, would have made more, and a bunch with some with 50, and some with 22, and some with 9, and some with fused. Yeah, it's crazy. Katra, more dimension, more complexity. Chance is the smartest claim. The smartest. My marriage got so bad I don't even want to text about it. You don't have to text about it, brother. Look, brother, it happens. It absolutely happens. But look, failure is a chance to try again. And I understand you don't want to even think about marrying somebody right now. Absolutely. Question for everyone: if God created everything, then who created God? Meditate on that tonight. If you want a headache, look up the sea iguana. Sea iguana. I don't think I've ever heard that before either. Oh, wow. I never even heard of a sea iguana. The marine iguana. Wow, look at that big old mouth. Whoops, sorry. Why is it so small? There we go. That's what she said. Oh, look at it swimming. I'm going to do some shit with this, by the way. Dimensions are an angle of view and my angle of view. Chance is the smartest claim because it doesn't need a reason. That's why you couldn't prove anyways. So right, but so mathematically you can use chance, but when you go to biology and chemistry, that's where chance gets mixed up in wackadoodle. So, but you have to. You like in chemistry, there's a chance when you mix 2 chemicals together that they'll react. Sometimes they need a third thing to react, and then abiogenesis gets super complicated. That's right. He's the alpha and omega. The sun is a deadly laser. God created randomness as people try to become and help God join this group for some reason. No one created God. God has always been and always will be. It's more of a technicality chance. Well, hey, you know. The more you learn about how everything works, and that like you can learn so much biology, but the problem is you learn so much in biology that you stay a biologist. I'm an everythingist. Everything. I want to know chemically, mathematically, biologically, psychologically. What up, Robert? Look up Aspergillus flavus. Morphology, Aspergillus flavus, fungi and mycotoxin. The King Tut's curse, used to destroy cancer.
Remember the supposed curse of King Tut's tomb?
There's part reason
it's making a comeback, but not in the way you think. When archaeologists cracked open that famous...
Right. But why is there not, right? So we're asked to believe that the first cell came along of randomness, but when that first cell died, how did we get another one if it wasn't from randomness? Randomness that we had 30 cells and they knew that they could divide and how to divide and what to divide into, and that the chemistry for all that to happen was available, and the DNA for all that to happen was also available. It just goes beyond. The chance is 1 × 10 to the 122nd. That's more numbers than there are stars in more than atoms in the entire known universe. And if it was off by one number in that long string, nothing would work. Gravity would be too strong or too weak. Code out of reality, time, and space. Yes, Robert, I remember you, brother. Man, bad people have so much pressure. It is trippy. I still remember the days of my single cell life. I still remember it. Just say it, Nate. All right,
burial chamber in the 1920s,
So cool.
several team members mysteriously died, spreading rumors of an ancient pharaoh's revenge. But what actually spread were deathly fungal spores lurking in the tomb for thousands of years. Now, in 2025, scientists have taken that same deadly fungus and transformed it to successfully kill cancer cells. The fungus in question is Aspergillus flavus, a common mold you'll find hanging out in soil and on crops. Normally, this isn't something you would want to mess with.
We'll look at that next.
Toxins can cause serious lung infections.
It's more than even the number of atoms that make up all the planets and everything. It's so astronomically huge. It's like finding. It's like finding if that someone wrote the number 4 on an atom, and that atom is somewhere in the universe, and the chance that you have to find that, the chances are better that we were created than we were accidental. Oh, you say, but there's a chance. Do you know that
researchers have discovered that this fungus produces an interesting compound called RIP. RIPs are molecules that start their life in
trying to explain it is how I got the knowledge I got now. And I understand that some people's journey. And the problem is a lot of people say, you're so stupid to think that we were created. Obviously, everything's an accident, right? So it's knowledge that gets us to the point, at least me. I'm jealous for people that figured it out way sooner in life.
Ribosome, the cellular factory that makes...
This is the cellular curse, the fungus that's attributed to King Tut's curse. So is the number of planets. Sure, right. But it's not as much as you think. I'll show you. Hold on.
Proteins then get customized through further modifications. Scientists can tinker with these modifications to enhance specific properties, like cancer-fighting abilities. When the research team isolated 4 different RIPs from the fungus, they found something fascinating. All of these molecules had a unique structure of interlocking rings. They dubbed these previously unknown compounds as aspergillomycins after their fungal home. Even in their natural state, aspergillomycins showed promise when tested against human cancer cells. 2 of the 4 variants packed a serious punch against specifically leukemia cells.
Borchell, the interesting thing is, you have to be able to absorb nutrients. That means those nutrients already existed before the thing could absorb them, and it has to be set up to absorb them and create waste and get rid of it. So if something was created accidentally that could do that, it would just die because the food for that wouldn't be, and the way for it to poop.
Now here's the real kicker. When researchers added a lipid to the mix, the results were impressive. The compound became even more enhanced with the lipid addition. And get this, it performed just as well as cytarabine and daunorubicin, 2 FDA-approved drugs that have been used to treat leukemia for decades. So the big question was, why did that lipid make such a difference? The researchers discovered that it essentially gave the aspergillomycins a key to unlock leukemia cells, allowing them to slip inside and do their work.
So here's
Further
why.
experiments
Lipids,
show that
fats, some things are fat soluble, some things are water soluble. So by allowing it to dissolve into the fat layer, it allows it to penetrate.
Aspergillomycins may also disrupt the process of cell division, which is the crux of cancer, uncontrollable cell division. Interestingly, the compound had little to no effect on breast, liver, or lung cancer cells, suggesting it's specific to certain cells, which is a positive in cancer when you want to target a certain area. The next steps involve testing aspergillomycins in animal models, with hopes of eventually moving to human clinical trials. It's a long road from lab bench to pharmacy shelf, but it's pretty
except when we're talking about COVID.
Remarkable that a fungus once blamed for cursing tomb raiders might one day help save lives.
Hold on, we'll look into it. I'll show him. I'll show him what I was talking about.
I drove so fast in my eyes can't see. Give us a follow everywhere at Today Learn Science at TIL
Science. To let us know how special we are. To let us know that even though all of these things are out there, why are we in the Goldilocks zone? And dude, all of these answers have been found. These answers have all been questioned. how the Earth got the nutrients and the radioactive particles it needed happened from other stars exploding at distances from us that wouldn't wipe us out, but would give us enough of each type of radioactive isotopes in order to seed the planet. So all of it's required for life on Earth. It's very interesting. I understand you convince yourself this is why there can't be, but you haven't looked into the evidence of why that's why we are. It's very interesting. And let me see if I can find something for you here. What's it called? Fine-tuning creation. I don't know what he's going to say, we'll see.
When it comes to the fine-tuning argument, you can't just look at it from one narrow subdiscipline. And one of the common features of physicists, they tend to be focused not just on physics, but a very small sliver of physics. And this is where I think you come up with a compelling argument that the fine-tuning does point to a mind. It points to a mind that's got multiple specified purposes, and those specified purposes match what we see the Bible saying about the reason why God created in the first place, why he designed us the way he did. And a number of theologians I know, when they look at fine-tuning, they actually mesh it with the fact that when we look at nature, we see this mystery, we see this beauty, we see this elegance and this symmetry. And doesn't that say something about the causal agent that's behind all of this? And those are actually features of the characteristics of God that are described in the Bible.
All right, I wanted to try to find the math thing. What is his name? His name is Ross.
Stop what you're doing and check out this mind-blowing presentation by scientist Hugh Ross on the fine-tuning argument for God.
Example. No, brother. Listen, eyes in science. We have no idea. So some people say that, but we have no clue. We have no clue if there's other beings on other planets, other microbes, because we can only get small things from small samples from very distant things. Why don't we see Space Cowboys comment? Oh, because he's on Twitch. It just compounds the arguments that against by chance and by argument. Yeah, we got it. The odds are just low. No.
Have life possible in the universe has to have a certain cosmic mass density. It has to have a certain space energy density. And we can measure how fine-tuned it must be in order for there to be any possibility of life anywhere in the universe. And it's at a level of 1 part in 10 to the 122nd power. And that far exceeds the best example of human engineering fine-tuned design by about a factor of 10 to the 97 times. Which means the one that was responsible for that fine-tuning design must be more intelligent, more knowledgeable, more creative and powerful than we human beings.
Astrophysicist Hugh Ross.
All right, but if you look into that, how many atoms are in the universe? So the number of atoms in the universe are 10 to the 78 to 10 to the 82, and the fine tuning is 10 to the 122nd, which means that by changing one number, the number is so long, by changing the last digit in that number by that amount, which is more numbers than atoms are in the universe, not planets in the universe, atoms in the universe. Symmetry is also a feature of evolution. Theologian, be like archaeologist, various legends. She blinded me with science. Evolution proves the existence of God. Why wouldn't most things power choose the movements naturally? Brother, you just haven't looked into it enough. I promise you. How does evolution prove God exists? Yeah, he's just saying stuff now. Listen, how does it start? How does it start, Blanco? Just because you can explain how everything doesn't negate the fact that everything got designed. John Jones is your logical circular. So is yours, Blanco. What are you talking about? I wonder if these astronomical numbers are on the Fibonacci scale. It's a good question. and how we know how many atoms there are. Okay, so it's estimated there are between 10 and 7 in the observable universe. The massive number, 1 followed by 80 zeros, is derived by estimating the number of stars, galaxies, and the density of matter, predominantly hydrogen and helium in the cosmos, than doing the math. Evolution proves nothing. Right, it's right. That's the thing. Using the word proves is a problem because it's a hypothesis and a theory. It hasn't been proved, and it only got proved by a hoax in 1914 or 1904. So that's now been taken out of the history book or the science books as of 2016. So people that learned this stuff before 2016 learned about a lie. And that's now been debunked. So that the Piltdown man, it was a lie. So they only tell you the evidence for when talking about their theories and not the evidence against. But all of it's out there, absolutely. I don't know what I'm talking about evolution. Evolution doesn't require a guy confusing and cause discussion with the evolution discussing. It doesn't matter. You can't start the fire. You can't start the fire. Religion is a hypothesis. There's lots of religions. Look up the Bennington Triangle after this. Bennington Triangle. Yeah, it doesn't matter. You have to get it started. You have to get it started. And if you if you really want to know before arguing about it, because obviously you don't have all the information, and you have a biased out view. Okay, the Bennington Triangle is a 93 square kilometer area in southwest Vermont, centered in Glastonbury Mountain, where 5 to 7 people mysteriously disappeared between 1945 and 1950. I've never even heard of it.
Woodford, Vermont is squarely within the fabled Bennington Triangle. It's here that the Long Trail and the Appalachian Trail come together on the 10-mile approach through the Glastonbury Wilderness to the summit.
The interesting thing about evaporation is that we have condensation. I think it's the Krebs cycle, not the Krebs cycle. What's it called? The water cycle. And so the more it evaporates, the more it'll condense and rain back down. Because energy, it's circular. You could literally have a creator causing the universe but not doing nothing to encourage evolution. Or you could have both, but you have to start somewhere. Look up, hold on, let's watch this.
Vermont's most mysterious mountain. Years ago here, over a 5-year period, 5 separate people utterly vanished, gone, without a trace. Does that make the Bennington Triangle real? No. Sure might make somebody think twice before hiking in here alone, though.
Is that all you got to say about that? Come on. Rich, what do you think about the dog man? I don't even know who the dog man is.
Southern Vermont lies a stretch of land that has earned a chilling name, the Bennington Triangle, a place where time warps, compasses spin, and people vanish without a trace. Locals say the ground itself is cursed. Ancient spirits, malevolent stones that devour, and maybe something not of this world. Between the 1940s and 1950s, 6 people disappeared into these woods, all swallowed whole by the forest. No blood, no struggle, just gone. An 18-year-old college student vanishes mid-hike. A war veteran dissolves into thin air while sitting on a bus. An experienced outdoorsman walks a familiar trail and simply ceases to exist. That's why they vanish without a trace. Right. The ancient Appalachian Range, a place already whispered
billionaires
to be
that go out on a yachting
zone
trip
of death, where portals.
I mean, think about it. The Bermuda Triangle, it's the same thing. Like when somebody famous vanishes, disappears, and then, you find out 40 years later, they're kids or their genetic match from some other country. That's so crazy. It's so crazy.
Cryptids and energy vortexes bleed into our reality. The deeper you go, the louder the woods seem to breathe. And once you're inside, you may never come back.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. Let's see. Do you feel? No. I love the woods. We just watched this. We'll watch this again real quick. This is a really cool thing to think about what our thoughts
This question might sound stupid on the surface, but it's actually one of the most profound questions we can ask. Are your thoughts made of atoms? At first, this sounds obvious. Your brain is made of atoms, neurons are atoms, the electricity firing between those neurons is also atoms, but a thought isn't something physical. You can't hold it or weigh it or put a memory under a microscope, and yet it is real, and you're having one right now. Atoms are the fundamental building blocks of the universe, and they combine to form molecules, cells, tissues, organs, and ultimately our entire body, including the brain. But somewhere along the way, something weird happens. Out of pure matter, experience appears. The experience of being you. Philosophers and neuroscientists call this the hard problem of consciousness, because the real mystery isn't how the brain works, it's how thoughts, feelings, the entire experience of being alive can emerge from physical processes in the brain.
Right, so there's interesting things like we can do brain scans and show pictures of what people are thinking, but not what they're feeling about that thought. So if they say, imagine a horse, and then you can see like a fuzzy horse, on the computer screen, but you the memory, oh, I love that horse in this movie from 1925. It was so great. The horse's name was blah, blah, blah. Like, we don't have any of that, the thoughts surrounding those memories. So it's just like, you can see what somebody is thinking, but not what they're feeling about that thought. And that's what's very interesting about consciousness, how we all have this interconnectedness in some way, and there is scientific evidence for that. String theory thinks that the changes in the fields that happen in our brain are also happening in your brain, and through the whole, and they actually call it the super brain. And this is scientists saying this stuff. It sounds, but the atom is not the smallest building block, just theorizing for sake of theorizing. Yes, but just like thinking about it, it's cool. Evolution, absolutely. Yeah, you have to start, right. The problem is, that's what's taught. People are taught there is no God because evolution. And that's wrong. That's people that don't want people to keep thinking and looking into it. Or if they say, I want you to do something bad, and don't worry, because there's no God. We're all just a cosmic accident, So it's usually people that don't want to fear, or people that don't want to fear consequence for their actions. Also, macroevolution has been proven false. So there is evolution. There is, absolutely, and I said this before. If I look like this and I start lifting weights, my muscles get bigger. I evolve to be able to lift heavier weights. So that kind of thing happens. But we've never changed species. You don't start drinking water and turn into a fish. That's only in thought experiments. We didn't come from monkeys. No. The problem with the monkey thing is another science problem. They used to believe that 75% of DNA was called junk DNA. So they would only look at the top 5% of DNA. And of that top 5%, us and chimpanzees had 98% in common. But when we realized, this was in the 1970s, so in the 2010s, when we got the whole genome sequence, I think it was actually way before that. Hold on. The 2010s. Then we realized, these things do a whole lot more than we thought. It's not junk DNA. Then we compared it again, and we're like 40%. And that's a big problem with science. They say things like percentages, but a percentage of what percent? 98% of 5% of the DNA we have matching with chimpanzees, and then everybody believes it. Because that makes evolution makes sense. Yes, because they stack the deck. Can some larvae survive radiation? Yes. So the big one that they look at is called the water bear microevolution. Right. Why are there rainbow trout then steelhead? Why are the rainbow trout and then steelhead? Same species but different adaptation. Right. What up, Shrimply? Creation arguably requires a god, but theory of evolution less likely. You're awesome. Thank you, Shrimply, brother or sister, friend. All right, so let's see. What was I going to look up? Water bears. Water bears surviving space. This is awesome. These things are freaking awesome. They're called tardigrades. Okay, let's see.
Here's how the world's toughest animal ended up on the moon. So it's 2019, and this is about
they can help each other. Fungus, mycelium, if you have a tree here and a tree here, and this tree's smaller than this tree, and there's a lot of vegetation over here that can feed this tree, mushrooms can grow as like extra roots. They connect to the root system of another tree, and then they can bring those roots more nutrition so that the roots can, it's absolutely amazing.
Become the first private spacecraft to land on the moon. But then it crashes. But that's not the story. The thing is, this spacecraft happened to be carrying a time capsule with millions of pages worth of information.
It's called, strong and weak, or high confidence and low confidence. That's exactly right. Nothing is 100%. That's why when they say there is no God, they are 100% lying, because they can't prove it. They could say it's 99.999999999% that they think that there isn't a God, but they can't prove it. So you know that they're being deceptive by just saying it. Go get me started on mycelium. Based on the story I can hear from the kid from the Baraboo. Man, I can't freaking read.
Human DNA, and at the last minute, they added this tiny little capsule filled with tardigrades, water bears, which are my favorite animal because they have this incredible capacity to dehydrate themselves, which allows them to survive environments that would kill
Hey, Veritas is back. What up, brother?
Including the vacuum of...
Exactly. You can't prove it. So why do people keep saying it? Do you realize scientists don't claim there is no God? Yes, they do. They do it all the time. What up, brother? They do it all the time. It depends. Listen, and here's the problem too. That's just like saying Americans all want to go to war. Which Americans? Which scientists? There are absolutely atheist scientists out there saying there is no God. 100, and they're very popular.
Space. So all of this crashes on the moon, and experts say that the tardigrades might have survived the crash. We don't actually know. They can't rehydrate and move around up there without liquid water on the moon. But technically, Earth's first off-planet colony might be made of water bears. For more optimistic science and tech stories, subscribe. Here's how the...
Did you know that tardigrades...
Everything's freaking AI, dude.
One of the misconceptions about tardigrades is that they are immortal. They're actually quite delicate animals and can be hurt and killed easily. Because of their small size, tardigrades are eaten by some even...
Scientists claiming there is no God would have been one that never thought about what came before the Big Bang. Right. That's my problem. That's my problem, is because you have people that don't think about that, but they get paid. So they come up with a scam saying there is no God and I'll prove it. If you give me enough money and enough time and enough lab equipment, we'll prove it. And that's the problem I have, is that they should say it's an interesting thing that's been talked about in history, and maybe we could prove it right, we'll prove it wrong. And that's why I hate the deception, but I agree.
Bigger single-celled organisms. In this video, we managed to record a close encounter between a tardigrade and a giant eukaryote. But this lucky little one managed to escape, and even damaged the cell of the eukaryote in the process. And in this clip, we have a happy tardigrade waddling on one of the most dangerous residents of the ponds, a brown hydra. Hydra's tentacles are armed with something called nematocysts. These are like tiny harpoons that are fired upon contact to immobilize the hydra's prey. This water bear was either very...
Let's see. Anti-God scientists. Okay, the new atheism. The new atheism movement. Agnostic and atheist scientists argue that there's no evidence for a deity associated to new atheism. Prominent figures who have publicly cited or criticized religious beliefs include Richard Dawkins, Stephen Hawking, Sam Harris, Daniel Denton, Victor Say. These thinkers often emphasize that the universe operates through physical laws, not divine intervention. A view championed by figures like Feynman and Cross. Not all scientists. Why not all scientists are atheists? Surveys suggest a significant portion of global scientific community does not view religion or science as being directly in conflict. God in the gaps. Some argue that the conflict arises from a misunderstanding where God in the gaps is used to explain what we don't currently know. But shifting perspectives. Although some scientific theories regarding unguided evolution have historically led to loss of faith, other scientific developments have sometimes been interpreted as God-friendly. Okay, let's we keep jumping around. I want to stay on time. I'm going to end up giving you guys my ADHD if I keep jumping around. Okay.
Lucky or too small to activate the nematocysts, and so got away from a heartbreaking end.
Yeah, we can never get to 100%. We can never get to 100% on everything. If you ask a true, honest scientist, do I exist right now? They say there's a 5 sigma, 99.999% chance. That's as close to 100% because this might be a figment of our imagination, and there's evidence. Very weak evidence to believe that we aren't really here having this conversation. They're saying, yes, right. Where's your joint? More science tries to disprove God. Right. That's the problem. The problem is people are what's called being church hurt. Some people got bad things happen to them from supposedly godly people. So now they're on a mission to tear down anybody that has faith, any faith. And the thing is, that's the thing that sucks so bad, because there is such great science going on, great science in chemistry, absolutely, from pro creator, like they don't say, there might not be Christians or Muslims or whatever, but they've gotten to the point they're like, we are either created or we are either created by the God of the biblical texts or a simulation or whatever, but something with very, very, very good in all scientific studies created us. And then the only thing we have to explain that is history. So, okay, what do the other people say? What do the scientists of the past and the biographers of the past for people and whatnot? What did they have to say? And apparently they had so much evidence that the whole world decided that we're going to start 0 at AD, after the year of our Lord. Like the whole world bases it on that, and so something convinced them of that.
It's that they are immortal. They're actually quite
right, Veritas. That's my problem. My problem is the ones that like getting on the internet and saying there's no God. There's no God. We can prove it, and I could prove it with enough money and time. And you may not have seen them. I mean, I'm 49 years old, so I've spent a lot of time. I was them. Right? So I was one of them. I was one of those, you guys are idiots. Look, we're going to figure it out. We're almost there. I was one of them. And then I learned myself into that. Sorry.
Like animals and can be hurt and killed easily because of their small size. Tardigrades are eaten by some even bigger single-celled organisms. In this video, we managed to record a close encounter between a tardigrade and a giant eukaryote. But this lucky little one managed to escape and even damaged the cell of the eukaryote.
Those things, they dehydrate and then rehydrate. I've seen some debaters, but not nearly as much people. Right. This is my point. This is my point. That's why, but you get haters that come in and say, "Oh, you're freaking," and I say, "Why do you believe there's no God?" And they just say science. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
They can withstand these extremes of temperatures, so they decided, well, let's see if they can withstand the real vacuum. The perfect vacuum is in space. As we send tardigrades into space, the question has to arise.
Sorry. I'm trying to read and do everything at the same time. I apologize. All right, let's watch this. Or hold on. Let's go see what you were talking about, Catra. What were you talking about, Madam Priest? Why is it so wrong to not allow the world to be dominated by ancient brain religious zealots who have been pegged at 126? Your book says it's okay to kill and others don't. So don't. So I don't know. So again, why is it so wrong to not allow a first world country to be dominated by ancient brain religious zealots or have any impact on 126? Your book says it's okay to kill. Others say they don't. I don't think it's okay. I don't think it's okay. Scientists, why I don't believe in God was not why I believe there's no God. Okay, gotcha. There you go. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah. I think technically that's the difference between atheist and agnostic. Right. Agnostic is they don't know. Like there's not enough evidence. Atheist has become a new religion. They have faith that there's no God. But some religions would say are less likely to do what's the will. That's true too, right? That's true too. Some religions could say, yes. Do you recall when you were 7 years old? I recall Baraboo, Wisconsin. I recall when I was 7 years old. I remember a lot. I remember breaking my nose when I was 10. I remember when I was 7 getting a bicycle. Me and my brother had to share it. Anyway, let's see. Right, and I think that's a big thing too. Like a lot of people don't even know what the word agnostic means. Like they think atheist is like the whole thing, and that. Yeah, I get it. This is what happens when you keep talking. You get to common ground. That's what I like. We don't need to hate each other. And Pasteur proved spontaneous generation doesn't happen. Yeah, we got dude. There's stuff that came out today in abiogenesis. So the current abiogenesis or that we were created from chemicals. They were basing it on the RNA thing. And I've said this a couple of weeks ago, and I've been saying it for a while, that we have that a lot of science that's looking for how we were created just from chemicals in a primordial soup. They say that that we have billions of years for the chemicals to mix together to get proper. But when you look at RNA, you've got 4 hours. When the sugar backbone of RNA, it has to complete and move forward within 4 hours or it dissolves. So the billions of years for that doesn't work. It has to happen quicker than that. I'm sorry, atheist is not a religion. Listen, it's become a religion. It's called the new atheism, right? It's become a religion. People believe it. Agnostic is a knowledge claim. Atheism is a belief claim. Right, belief. There's evidence for. Okay, hold on. Sorry, I keep jumping around. I'm gonna get out. I've said my point. I'll let you guys argue about it. Baraboo, Wisconsin. Here we go. Baraboo, Wisconsin. And you said what? Look up what? I'm just saying, isn't it a crazy world? Yeah, I agree. I agree. And the thing that is like, we try to say, look, we've gotten enough evidence to believe, and people come in to say, I don't believe, and I don't want to believe. I just want you to tell me why you believe so I can tell you you're wrong. And that's where it gets unproductive. Veritas, you can look it up yourself, brother. I just had it on the screen. The new atheism movement. That's what it's called. You can read the doctrines. Devil's Lake is a very cool thing. Devil's Lake. Why do you gotta play the music? Is there any interesting stories we're looking at? Yeah, what do you mean? Yes, there is, brother Veritas. Yes, there is, man. Yes, there is. You're just not looking for it. You have to understand what bias is. But you are so believing that there's not, that you're not looking at the science for. Here's some right here.
Viable, sensible, and useful mRNAs at all. Process called splicing, and various nucleotide chemical modifications are made. For example, here
what up, Brenda?
Would be a typical messenger RNA. Now, we're used to thinking that the messenger RNA transports genetic information from the DNA to the ribosome.
I'm showing it to you. Yeah, here.
Which is correct, but that is only a small
Here, I'll go back to the beginning. So just because you're not looking at this science doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Royal Truman, and we're going to be talking about the RNA world hypothesis, a critical assessment, part 2. Part 1 we've already spoken about, and that's referenced in the description box below.
Listen, you can do that on your own. Listen, if you don't want to believe, you don't have to believe. And you also said there's no science, there's no scientist saying that there is God. There is all that. You're just wrong.
About RNA and showing the problems with the RNA world hypothesis, which is the largest and most prevailing world hypothesis as to how life might have originated on Earth or anywhere. And Dr. Truman worked for 40 years at BASF, which is the world's largest chemical firm. And he's worked in both Germany, where their headquarters is, and in the USA. His formal education is a bachelor's degree in chemistry and computer science, and a PhD in organic chemistry, and an MBA focusing on information systems. He also has a 2-year advanced postmaster's bioinformatic program degree at a German university. He's lived in several countries, and he speaks 5 languages. His career is involved in chemical research and application of a wide variety of cutting-edge computing technologies. And his current research is focused on interpreting cells as integrated systems of analog computing devices. And so with that, I'm going to open it up to Royal Truman, Dr. Royal Truman, to go ahead and take it from here.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tour. In part 1, we focused on the chemical problems of the RNA world hypothesis. Today, we're going to talk about the biological issues. Why? Because it is still claimed that the RNA world is a fact, not by everybody, of course, but by many people. And these are people that don't know much about chemistry and perhaps don't want to know much about chemistry. They're biologists. So what I want to do is show from my biological...
What does he want? What does he want? Atheist doctrine. Atheism is defined as a lack of belief in the existence of gods or deities. It is a formalist belief system, religion, or dogma, but rather rejection of theism. Atheists generally base their worldview on evidence, reason, scientific understanding, and often rejecting supernatural explanations. That's from the American Atheists Foundation. You don't know what you're talking about, brother. You don't know what you're talking about.
Biological point of view, that the data does not support an RNA world. So it is very common in the literature to read statements like, this supports the RNA world hypothesis beyond reasonable doubt, a recent quote, or it is hard to avoid the conclusion that the primitive ribosome could have been made entirely of RNA, etc., etc. What is the motivation for the RNA world hypothesis? The problem here is that people want to believe that life could have originated, quite frankly, without divine activity.
Veritas, the problem is some do, some don't. So you can't say atheists don't believe when some of them clearly do, and you're trying to put yourself in a group of atheists, and you're trying to say what you believe is what they all believe, but it's just not the truth.
Without God. But when you look
totally real.
at the details of all life, specifically what happens in cells, what do you see? You see an absolute dependence, with no exception, on DNA, RNA.
What up, Chip? I remember you, Chip, absolutely.
And a mutual dependence. That means all must be present concurrently. Very complex processes occur on large
Right.
DNA.
That's what rejection means. Rejection. That's exactly what it means.
Other processes occur.
You're learning, brother. You'll get there. Don't worry. We'll be friends in no time, my brother.
And the things are not separable. You can start with DNA and a few million years later, add the other components. For example, DNA alone.
It depends who you ask. It's like saying, "Are you queer?" That you can make it up. You can say, yes, what are queer people? There are people that identify as queer. Who are atheists? People that identify as atheists, right? But I'm not an atheist then. Okay, then what are you? I just don't believe there's a God. Why? Okay, does that make me an atheist? Well, that's up to you, right?
Exists without proteins. Proteins, enzymes.
So if we go by the atheists, they say it's defined fundamentally as a lack of belief in the existence of God. No belief. So they do not believe. Not a lack of evidence, a lack of belief. Okay, where were we?
Are used to manufacture the nucleotides.
It's not rejection is not saying it's not a thing. What up, Goofy Goo? What up, girl? Your mom?
For DNA. Proteins are necessary to form the large complexes used to polymerize DNA, to repair DNA. DNA cannot exist anywhere in life without proteins. The sequences of RNA, the nucleotides, are specified from the DNA genes. These RNA sequences are indispensable to specify the sequences of the tens of thousands of...
Yeah, he speaks 5 languages. He's from Germany. I'm sure he's trying his best. But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to say, like, yeah, so right. If you're not finding it, you're not looking for it. That's the problem. You know, you can't say scientists don't do this because they do. They can't say atheists don't do this because they do. You know, and it's just like, yeah. What up, dude? Freaky Larry? In your walls, rent free. If someone says there's an odd number of stars and you reject that claim, it means you believe there's an even number of stars. Right? Yeah. He just wants to fight. I think. His voice says 3 notes in total. In your walls. Yeah, I love it. I love you all. I just want to say it. I really love the internet. I love that we're able to have these conversations and everything. This is great. It's great. It's absolutely great. But this is a thing that's interesting out there. So there's very, 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 very smart people that believe in God and don't believe in God, and there are very, very smart people that do not want there to be a God. When you talk to them, just because they have anything next to their name, and when they try to put you down for believing, not, oh, you believe in God, I haven't found enough evidence yet. You know, they don't say that. They're like, you're dumb. Okay, that's because you believe in nothing. What you believe is an illusion. There's nothing here, nothing believed. Yes, of course, everything is going to be homogenous. There's fringe and everything. Yep. Check behind you. I can do that right now. Ready? Bam. In fact, it's harder to be an atheist than a religious person. Absolutely, it's harder. Right. That's why you shouldn't be atheist. The difference between agnostic and atheist is agnostic means I don't know, I haven't seen enough evidence yet, and atheist means I do not believe. Lack of belief. I don't believe. I do not believe in a deity. I don't believe in a God. I thought you said fridge, Lamau. The fridge created us. Yes. Haven't you seen Pastafarianism? Did you know that? That some people believe the giant spaghetti monster created us? Pastafarianism. Agnostic too is a lack of belief. Right. But it's open-mindedness. What did 20 do when it was hungry? 28. Okay. Pastafarianism. The tenets of Pastafarianism. Dude, we used to have a Pastafarian sculpture in Baltimore, like 1 block away from my house. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, as a non-dogmatic religion worshipping spaghetti and meatball creator champions science and rejecting dogma. Key beliefs that pirates are divine, universe was created while being drunk, and the afterlife features a beer volcano. It emphasizes humor and logic. Don't indulge in behavior that causes self-harm or harm to others. Don't challenge bigoted, hateful ideas on an empty stomach. Don't build massive, expensive churches. Spend money on ending poverty instead. Don't act like I talk to you. You're not that special. Don't do unto others if you're kinky, leathery stuff, unless it's consensual. Right? That's right. Agnostic doesn't reject that. They don't reject it. Atheism rejects it. Agnostic doesn't. Goofy, how do you call 7 6? 6 7 6 7. What up, Smarticus? I love the freaking internet. I tell you what, I really love you guys. I enjoy the hell out of this stuff. Imagine I could just be sitting in a bar, pissed drunk, talking about sports or something all day. 6 7. Ooh, oh great. Goofy's got another one. Let's see. What was that? Let me see if I can find them. We finally, yeah. Sometimes it happens, especially when somebody says a good joke, at least. And I'm glad it's not like 75 times a day, 75 times a stream. Do you believe in your keyboard? You believe enough to sit here and debate this, but you believe enough to pay your bills, love your kids? We are never getting to bar. Oh, sorry. I keep forgetting. Baraboo. It's freaking hot in here. It's getting hot in here. So take a mess. May God help them, right? I'm trying to help. Balanced Rock Winery. Oh, is that what we were looking at earlier? The Balanced Rock that was on there it is. God is a woman, bonita. La isla bonita. Why did the crab crawl across the road? It didn't. It used the sidewalk. So the first, one of the first Bibles came out of Nigeria. Let me get some water. And when the sun goes in, and la isla bonita. You can't believe, right. You can't believe in nothing. You can believe in nothing, won't you still believe in something? That's right. Did he die? Ethiopian. What did I say? Nigerian? Yes, Ethiopian. My apologies. Yeah, it's hot in here. Hey, Chair, what's up? He left for water. What up, Tara? The Bible, 19th century. What? 19th century? Was it Nigeria? What did I say? Ethiopian. Sorry. Yes. Right. Yeah, my apologies. He did. Religious people in the chat, pray for me. I want to believe in God, but I can't get there. Himothy, you'll get there, brother. I promise you you'll get there. Bro, confused Nigeria and Ethiopia. I did. I'm back. Cherry's such a celebrity. Are you ready for it? Yes, bring it on, Goofy. Yes. Look, I did a lot of work today. I streamed for freaking 6 hours today, and then here's another hour and 45. And while I was streaming, I was running up and down the stairs, changing freaking electrical outlets and doing yeah, I did a lot. It's hot, dude. Bit. Did you? You said you love us. Do you really? I mean it. I absolutely mean it. 100%. I mean it. I love you guys. Absolutely. Listen, I want the best for you, and I this is why I don't shit on you guys when you don't know something, and I say, here, let me show you. Even if you say I'm wrong, well, let's find out. Let's check. It's such an easier, better way to get through life. Imagine, hate is a cancer. The more you hate people, the more hate you have to pass out, to give out the more people. And you can just flip that. You can just say, nah, look, I've already been in your shoes. I've already thought that. I've already said this to people, and it takes patience, but patience is a virtue. And I got patient. I didn't used to be patient. That was a fun watch. Yeah, it happens good, brother. You stream for 6 or 7 hours. Why is a crocodile and an alligator different? You'll see one later and get one in a while. Are you making up jokes, Goofy? Freaking Goofy Goob. All right, let me know. Who needs some vitamin B12? This guy. Sorry, D. I'm the only one here that Master Richard don't love. He absolutely adores me. I love you too, Borshow. I adore you, Borshow. Yes, we learn from each other. Hello, man. What's up, Mr. McLibtard? We watched the Memory TV Atheist interview. It has to be one of the ways not to interview people of different beliefs. Goofy. Yeah, in the name. I adore you too. Thank you, my friend. Let's see. What am I up? Dude, I don't want to get into that right now. It's ma'am. Sorry, ma'am. It's ma'am. Dude, you know what drives me freaking crazy? The transes need to police those transes. The people that get popular yelling at people for that, the Lily Tinos, they should have, instead of a bunch of other trans being like, you're an ass, stop making us look bad, they're like, go queen. It's freaking disgusting. Slay queen. He loves me more. I'm even known his wild names. You absolutely are. Do you remember the Joe Schmo show? The Jews? I love everybody. Joe Schmo. Joe Schmo. I know the name. I can't. Oh, yes, absolutely. Yes. I remember these guys. Absolutely. I can't play it. You're loved the most, Goob. Richard, I internet love you. Again, we haven't met. You haven't seen face to face, heard my voice or anything. Souls haven't met in person, but I love you on the internet term. Yep, I get it. Absolutely. So, listen, there's a very interesting thing. When you learn in life things like I've learned, like even how to feel the best just sitting here and not being like, oh, everything sucks. And it's so easy to spread that information. And then only a very small percentage of you actually do it. And a percentage of you that actually do it respond to be like, thank you, that was kick ass. And I'm like, awesome, great. Now there's people out there that are, the rest of their lives, they're going to take care of themselves and they're going to feel good. Who doesn't love you the most? Who doesn't? I'm so hungry. I internet love Uncle Richard Moore. Thank you, Himothy. So Himothy, I'm going to tell you what I did. There is science out there, like some that we just showed, for instance, that very smart people that speak multiple languages that have been all around the world, and they're not there. They didn't talk about their faith until after they retired, but they're still doing hard science. They're still in labs and doing things, and that's so many people, just like the liberals, they will beat you down if you go outside of their worldview. And the same thing happens with science. Think about liberal arts. So if they're scientists and they're saying, I believe in God, they're going to be like, you're an idiot. I'm going to make sure you don't get a grant. I'm going to, and that's what's going to happen. And then you're not going to get funded and you're not going to do your science. Thank you, Katra. Hey, 2X. Thank you, Katra. Internet love Richard the most. That's right. You guys can fight over it. Ask Richard. Internet loves. That's right. Internet loves shown with a like and a sub. Tripping name. Him. I thought it was pretty cool. And that's his actual name. At least that's what he said. Which is right. Which is very anti-science. And it's so interesting. You read an old ass book like the Bible and you see a line that says the devil is a deceiver. And then you realize that they're just being deceptive. Let's watch something sciencey real quick. Who do you love more? I'll tell you who I love the most. I love the most. I can't. That's absolutely, without a doubt. It's not a fight. I win. It's not my actual name. Okay, you got me. I sent him a very expensive gift previously. He may have been slipped his finger, but yeah, whatever. Yeah, Christ is king. Listen. This is what's great. What's great is I've been convinced to not hate anybody and to see how that goes. To try to figure out how using the knowledge that I have to try to get people to at least understand that there's a different way than being an asshole to everybody. There's another way. If you're feeling bad and that's why you're an asshole, let's try to get you feeling better first. Let's try to get that straight. And then after we get that straight, and you can handle the rejection of when your worldview crumbles in front of you emotionally, then we'll go on with the science and the theology. Plain and simple. We got bamboozled. What up, doctor? Yeah, that was pretty funny. Did you like it? It popped up in my head because he doesn't know my name. I don't know your name. Yeah, let me out and refresh you. Richard, you're not evil. You're evil. Yeah. You didn't pick me up here. You say, who did he say? Who did he say? I tell you. My favorite is Totally. Because they're always here for me and I really appreciate it. And you know who's the most beautiful? Oh, by far it's... I love it. I love it. Oh, he literally said him at the end. I know y'all didn't hear it. Oh, it's me. You guys can insert your own name in there. Do clips of it. My internet works again. I heard my name for real. See, I'm here. Listen. I love this place. I absolutely love this place. This is so great. This is so great. Georgia couple living in Iraq said warning. Oh, geez. Uh-oh. I don't want to read that. Okay, let's go back to this. What were we looking at? Who is it? I told you. It was... All right, I'm done. He said error. Dude, I love the internet. Listen, imagine being in the room with me right now and me trying to do that in real life. Like me thinking I love so much. That's like I acted that way when I was a kid, like last year. All right. Oh, I completely forgot what I wanted to show you all. But I think when I felt like crap all the time, I just wanted to argue all the time too, because it was the only thing that would give me a little bit of adrenaline by but now I don't need that anymore. So the world can get so much better. Goofy, I'm not going to hurt anybody's feelings by helping anybody's feelings. We're going to be all right. Did you golf with Netanyahu? No, I didn't. Goofy, he's just joking around. He doesn't have a favorite. That's right. I don't have a favorite. You're all my favorite. Look, I'm glad to see you all when you come in here. It might seem like a shtick. I get excited. I'm happy. When I see people pop up in here, it's absolutely good. It's absolutely great. I love it. I absolutely love it. All right, now I completely forgot. There's something I wanted to look up, and I completely forgot about what it was. Oh, okay, look at this. Pastafari in Baltimore. Let's see if I can find it. There's got to be one. Oh, there's no pictures of it? No way. Oh, there it is. Right here. Let me show you. This is the exact thing right there. That's a big-ass sign on the side of the building. Believe your noodly master, hun. Hun is what we would say in Baltimore. Hey, hun, how you doing, hun? That's what the ladies would say. I drink too much. Yeah, I used to drink a lot, brother. I don't drink at all anymore. Listen, I tell you what. Once you can stop drinking for a day or two, get your elements together. While you have a couple of days, if you want to take a break in a few days, look up what vitamins does alcohol retard. What does it stop? What does it stop the absorption of? And then look into that. Zinc, the B vitamins, and the people that withdraw medically have a less difficult time because they're given IV vitamins and minerals and whatnot. If you had a pet frog, what would you name it? Oh, jeez. Scott. I love that you acknowledge this too. Absolutely. I'm straight up alcoholic and it sucks. Brother, hey, look. I was a straight up everything-aholic. Everything. Listen, the thing is, being sober sucked so bad, but you have to realize it's because you're unhealthy. The world isn't as bad as is when you don't feel bad. The world's not as bad because you know that all the bullshit that happens out there doesn't affect you, and if it does affect you, then you're unhealthy. I tell you, dude, for the price of a freaking bottle of liquor, you can be better in a few days. Can I say warning because I what? Can I say a warning? Yeah, you can say a warning. And we have to do the research around here. Sorry. The first 2 weeks are hell, and then it only gets better. Are those skulls? A site needs a subscription. There you go. John didn't listen to Richard. Don't listen to Richard. Do not ever stop drinking. Just stop. Do not ever stop drinking. Just stop drinking alcohol. Oh, sure. Sorry. My apologies. Yes. I agree. Rusty's gay. Hi, gay. I'm Himothy. He just the comment section should have stories too. I put various garden vegetables in my rectum. Is that gay or is that? I'm trying to think of a good vegetable joke. I can't think about it. Okay. Alex Jones is a frog name. Awesome. That's a good name for it. That's a good name. Yeah. That could be worse. That could be heroin. Yep, you absolutely could. No, stop drinking, period. No need for fluids. Okay, hold on. I got you, Catra.
Hi there, I'm in Baraboo, Wisconsin. Yeah, Baraboo, just like it says on the wall here, Baraboo. And I thought this would be a great town to start off my Halloween video series, or series of videos, if you will, as we are now in October.
It doesn't taste good. You gotta use it. My dad was messed up by cigarette addiction. He was an intelligent man too. My grandpa and alcohol addiction. Make sure, yeah, break it, brother. Listen. Break it. I think it's more experimental than everything. Yeah, sometimes that. What's for dinner? We're poor. Broke Ollie. Broke Ollie, that's what's for dinner. You're gonna eat your fluids again. Morning there has been bots around inappropriate PFPs, of course. Something like it's B-Day. It's my B-Day. No one pure beauty in your heart. And that's a warning. Oh, gotcha. I forgot you said you wanted to put a warning. Unless they catch you a buzz, that's the point. Yeah, I didn't think you finished. You ran out of letters. Here's what you need to do. What are we gonna do? I know what you need to do. You need to. And the best way to make like $1 million in one day is you have to, it's very easy. Just, no problem. Okay, sorry. There we go. If I had tasted Jack Daniel's honey, it tastes good. That's how it tastes like crap. You have to add stuff to it, fermentation. Richard!
Perfect timing for Halloween. There are some things in this town that can be considered quite scary at times. And I'm going to take you there.
John, I tell you what, brother. Listen, I have to agree with you. I've got a knack for it. I don't know why. And I tell you what, I don't know if it would come across in stand-up comedy, but I definitely got the internet thing down.
Baraboo as well.
Have too much
They've got a circus, I love it. Of all things, a big circus.
I love it.
They've got the El Ringling Theater, which is historic in this neck of the woods. And then I also am going to take you to a haunted hotel bar. Actually, I don't know if they're renting out rooms anymore or not. We will have to find that out later in the video. And we'll get a tour of that too. So it's all coming up in this video.
What did that say? Did I miss that?
That's the sound of an American oil hard at work.
I've been there. It's gay.
Listen up.
Haunted stuff. Yeah,
Hello.
look at that.
My name is Adam Ferrari, and I'm the CEO of Phoenix Energy.
Shut up.
Baraboo here is home to the El Ringling Theater.
I live in Wisconsin.
Definitely
There's a kid in my class. Oh, that's right. I remember saying that earlier.
And also,
he's a bit of a commute.
Circus World Museum, a big tourist attraction.
He has a bit of a commute. Jeez, I can't read. I'm like, why would you call him a commute? Like a commie? Hold on, what is a commute?
Circus World. I was just noticing along this wall here behind me, they have these like metal objects kind of built into the cement, and it just goes all the way across,
bedroom.
and it's definitely Circus World related here.
Al Ringling?
It looks like the theater is
Like the
closed right
Ringling
now. I was
Brothers
kind of
in
hoping to
Barnabas?
get in there to take a look at it,
Yeah,
but you'll
I
see
don't know
some
why she
pictures
wanted
that
to
I've
do
got.
this.
It looks beautiful in there. It's a theater designed for culture, education. Look, and this guy is haunted.
Oh.
That was done, the Automotion Show was done in... Boy, here.
I think she just wanted to show us it's not my fault. There's not better quality stuff in this town. Who's going to make some? Katra. Who's going to make some? I put my comment in, by the way. / warning. Yeah, so alcohol. Listen, if you're unhealthy and feel like shit all the time, especially when you're a kid, and then you're like, okay, I can drink now, and you're like, oh, this is much better than not being drunk, then there's something wrong. But you go to the doctor and they're like, oh, everything's fine, we can put you on some antidepressants, and that's a big problem. I try to look for other things, but I could need a subscription. Okay, let's see. Well, maybe there's a short. Oops, bugaboo. How do you pronounce it again? Baraboo. B-A-R-A-B-O. Baraboo. Shorts. There's no shorts? Hey, hold on. Armed and dangerous. Man, you got a lot of crazy stuff going on. Here's a circus artist. Richard, you're right. I should make something. Richard, you're right. I should do that sometime. Get a friend and make a Barbie documentary, but I need one to do my high school too. Yes, Baraboo. Yes, Baraboo. Yes, do it. Right. Yes, absolutely. Do it. Do it. I want competition or join it. You can be part of the 110th grade frickin' network and we can have our on the frickin' ground reporter Katra in Baraboo, Wisconsin. Absolutely. Do it. Do a short. Just do it 30 seconds. Do a minute even. Yeah. Hey, can we go through the process of what we were talking about earlier about setting up a business by itself? Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, here. Here, let me close some of this stuff down here. Hold on. Let me just close some of this stuff down again. Okay, here we go. Okay, so setting up a real estate company. What state are you in? New York, John, right? Okay. What, you don't have to tell me the town, but if you want to tell me whatever, we could. If you want everything, we can do. Okay, setting up a real estate company in New York. Okay. All right. So you have to become a licensed broker. All right. So the first thing to do is register your LLC with the Secretary of State. All right. Essential steps include securing an office. That can be your own home, joining the MLS, whatever, join them, and implementing branding and marketing strategies. Yeah, that's just what the AI is saying. But what you need to be at least 20 years old, and you have to have 2 years experience as a salesperson, 3 years in the field. Doesn't matter. Or complete a 75-year pre-licensing education to pass the state exam. But you don't need to actually do all this. You can also hire somebody. But if you want to start, let's start small, okay? So setting up an LLC to sell real estate in New York. All right. Okay, articles of organization is $200 in New York. Designate yourself as a registered agent, creating an operating agreement, and all that, it takes minutes, maybe an hour if you want to read everything. Okay, then you have to publish notices to local newspapers for 6 weeks. But you don't have to start with that, okay? Whatever it is, so you need a $50... and then 2 newspapers once a week to let everybody know. Dude, New York sucks, dude. New York is crazy. They want you to do a bunch of shit So then let's change it. Let's change it because, so how do we get around this? We failed at that. So how do we get around it? Set up an advertising business LLC in New York. Okay, so now you're just going to advertise that companies are for sale. $39, I mean, whatever. It's free. Somebody's just charging you $39. So you'll probably have to pay your registration fee or whatever. So what you'll do is you'll set up an LLC, okay? You've got an LLC, whatever. So when you go to, let's see, it's going to be irs.gov. I mean, I shouldn't do that because it's going to pull up my stuff right away. So you go to irs.gov and you set yourself up an LLC. You register with the state. After you do that, right, that's the small part. What you're interested in, hold on, on the ground catcher. Next time in Baraboo. Guess there's no other reason to go there. Hey, now you know the reason. Pulaski, New York. Okay. Remember Rodney King saying, can't we all just get along? He doesn't say it anymore. Check it out. It's weird, like E.T. phone home. Well, look at that. Yeah, New York is crazy, dude. This is why so many companies are leaving New York. But regardless, what's up, Baxter? Are you, or you could do none of it, become a Zionist? New York on easy mode. So, but this is what you want to do. Everybody, listen. This is how you do life. You're either a company or you're a citizen. If you're a company, you can live like a citizen, but you get all the tax benefits. So say you have a company, and this is what we're talking about, right? So you have a company. The company has an EIN, an employer identification number. You use that basically in place of a social security number. You can get credit with that. You can buy cars with it. You can do whatever with it. So once you get that set up, you want to buy for you, we're talking about getting a loan from the Small Business Administration. So getting a Small Business Administration loan. Or grant. Remember, grants are available too, which are loans you don't pay back. So we're going to go to SBA.gov, Small Business Administration.gov. All right. And then here you've got all the lenders. So what you need to do whatever. So loans, micro loans for $50,000. For $50,000 or less. It's called a micro loan. So it's not you're going into a bank and you're saying, I need 30 grand. No, you don't need to do that. There's other ways to get money. All the people you see online, it says, I'm a freaking entrepreneur, and they're selling freaking butt cheek implants and stuff like that. This is where they're getting the money. So you can, when you set up a company, an LLC, you then have access to different fundings. When you're just a citizen, you're saying, please give me money. It's not how the world works. This is why everybody that's rich pretty much has a company. Even if you're trading stocks, you want to protect that in an LLC so you can't be sued. You personally can't be sued. They can sue your business, but whatever you paid yourself, you get to keep. I do have some rocks collected near my school. I could send those to Discord. Yeah, make it happen. Hey, Barbara. Thank you, girl. I collect rocks too. One of those slowly eroded to hard rock fully reveals itself. It was pretty cool. What's going on, Barbara? Hey, Jane. So let me break this down again. So you set yourself up an LLC. Do whatever you need to do in New York. Set yourself up an LLC federally and register it with the state. Then you know what you want to do. You want to buy a house. Now, so you might not want to sell a house, but start a YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is to show houses that are for sale in your area. All right? Now you need to set that up. So you need a studio. So then you can get this loan to set up your studio. So say you want to buy a house that's $200,000. You need $40,000 down. You can get a $40,000 loan from these people, and then you can buy the house. Now the house is going to go up in value, maybe not in New York, but it's going to go up in value over the next. And so this is a 5-year plan, right? So over the next 5 years, when things start to change, and things will start to change, the house value will go up. So then you have equity in that house. That's the difference between the purchase price and the current price it would sell for. Plus, if it's a business and you have it registered as a business, you get a bunch of bonuses too. Now, you could actually, if you wait a year, you can sell that house in a year for whatever that price has gone up. And as long as that's for more than the fees you have made, you can make a little bonus. But not, you want a house to live in. So now you can write the house off and everything that you get for the first 5 years as your LLC. So now anything that you wouldn't be able to write off before, now your car, if you're using your car to make content or at least part-time, then that part-time in your car you can write off. The house, the rent, the kids help you. You can write the kids off $5,000 a year, write that off of your taxes because they clean the house, they clean their rooms and whatever. And there's a bunch of little things that may have happened since last I've learned about this, and especially in New York, because those guys are freaking crazy. They want every dime out of you as possible. But you protect yourself with an LLC. That's the first thing you do. You protect yourself with an LLC. You're now eligible to get loans, small business loans or small business grants. If you got a woman or someone that's considered a minority, you can get minority loans. Absolutely. So this money is available. And considering what's going on in New York right now, they're giving stuff away to people that can't pay it back. And they're just writing that stuff off. So do what you need to do to get what you need from the loans, the smallest amount loan you need, and that you can pay back, and it's going to be at a lesser level. It's not going to be at a standard citizen loan rate. So you have yourself a studio now that you live in. You can then, now that you have the place, you can then register at the 75-hour, do the 75-hour course and become a real estate reseller or seller. Then you have access to what's going on in New York. And there's going to be a lot, because there's a lot of people leaving New York. So you're going to have a lot of other people coming into New York. Whether you like them or not, they need housing, and they can go through you to find that housing. You can get a percentage. I think it's like 7 to 8%. So for every $100,000, you get $8,000 on that. So for every $500,000 house, you get $40,000, right? So you can do that pretty good. And all that money goes into your LLC, your business account. So you only pay yourself what you need. You have a company credit card. You transfer yourself $1,000 every month for whatever you need. So then you're only making $12,000 a year. So you only write off what the company has paid you for personal income tax. The rest is corporate tax, which is much less than personal income tax. So you get to keep less of that money. Yeah, you don't have it in your bank account, but it's in your business's bank account. So if you need to paint the house, you could pay for it out of that as a business expense. And you understand? So this is how you're reducing the amount of money you pay to the taxes at the end of the year. That's the game. You get rich by not paying taxes, and legally not paying taxes. I know I'm spewing this out here quickly, but I can help you as best I can to walk through when you get to those steps. Hit me up on the Discord and whatever, and we can walk through it. But that's the most important thing. If you need money, money's available. We live in America. People might shit on it all the time, but you can get what you need. The problem is people think that it should be given to them for nothing. You can start, especially businesses, because that, if you can start a business, especially if you can hire people, that lowers the amount, that lowers that increases the number of available jobs in the market and whatnot. And that helps politicians say, hey, look what I did under this. I dropped unemployment by 3%. By doing what? They didn't do anything. People started businesses. This is a very glossed, a very cursory look at it, but that's the point. The point is you want things to be taxed at a corporate rate rather than a personal rate. So everything you do, if you get a job, that the company does the job. The company does the job. 110th grade puts outlets in. They pay 110th grade, not Richard. Richard only pulls out the money that Richard needs. So Richard's taxes at the end of the year are only what 110th grade paid, and then the rest gets taxed at a corporate level, which I think is 12.5%. I think at state level. Entrepreneur, translation, I drop ship. Right. Hey, brother. Right. That's a lot of people. I got money from daddy's company. That happens a lot too. They are racist in the opposite way, but they're not willing to get rid of them because you're talking about S Corp or LLC setup. So whatever's the best in your area, either way, you get personal protection. Start with the LLC and get things going. You're not making a mistake by not incorporating it by like an S Corp. You can always start another company. You can start 50. And when you set one up, I would set up multiple, because then as your business grows, if you fail, then you can just pop up one of the other companies, and that company has age. It was started 3 years ago, 5 years ago. So it's easier to get more credit. So first, yes, set up an LLC and start a YouTube channel and for your company. Start whatever is John Jones LLC at gmail.com. It doesn't have to be that. What you know what I'm saying? Whatever you want your company to name. Start a YouTube channel under that and make a presentation saying, my name is John. I live in the blah, blah, blah. Yeah, whatever. My name's John. I'm a company of one that does X, Y, and Z, that photographs and documents the area in and around New York, whatever. And then so you actually, because they'll check to make sure you have a website and whatnot. And that's $15. Don't go through GoDaddy and stuff like that. Talk to me. I'll help you pay the lease, like $15 a year rather than $15 a month. But yes, first step. First step is to make sure you have money for a business that you want to start. Marry into wealth. What up, plastic? Not everyone is female in this chat. Plastic is. Yeah, but that's what everybody should be doing. Your family is a company. Your family should be protected by a trust. And then each one of your family members is underneath that trust. So if you do something personally, if you're driving a company car and you or if you're driving your personal car and you get into a wreck because you're drinking and driving, you get sued. Your companies don't get sued. But if you're driving a car, if your employee is driving a company car and they get into a wreck, they can sue the company, but they can't sue you. They can't go get after your money. And that's one of the big things that people do is they take money and they start businesses and they invest and they move money around to protect it from wackadoos. What up, Sack? They transition. The plastic transition. Yeah, it's very yes, and it's called the corporate veil, right? And then if they see that you did this strictly for hiding money, they can do what's called piercing the corporate veil to say, okay, hey, we want to see why you moved this money there and whatnot. If you do public statements and you say, hey, I am now this person, this company, and you can get free telephone numbers, Google Voice and things like that. You get a free extra number on your phone. So if you publish a number, people can call that number and your phone will ring, like your personal phone, it'll ring with a different number. And all that's free. It's all free. I'm trying to build a small LLM in small space. Yeah, get it going, brother. You should talk to if space travel time travel comes back in here. He's got one set up, I think, on his phone. It's very slow though. Your business is not protected from charging order. So right. But you can learn as you go because you're not talking about moving millions of dollars here and there. If you lose $1,000, you lose $1,000. But yes, right. But the important thing is to why do rich people do this? There's a reason behind it. So let's just look up what it is in New York. Corporate tax, New York City. Okay, 17.44%. All right, 17.44%. All right, and then let's say income tax, New York City. Oh, that's just the city. Sorry, New York State. Sorry. I'm an idiot. Sorry. Okay. So it starts at 10.9%, and then over that April 15th, for the eligible tax brackets, 4% lower income tax bracket, 25 million, 3.9%. So New York City. So you add an extra 4%, so that's 18%. Private retirement pension income tax 59. So what's the total? Okay, hold on. Let me see. It's all wackadoodle. If I make $100,000 in New York City, what's my tax? What's the tax? You take home around $70,000 to $74,000. So they take 20, let's just say 30% tax, right? Because you have to add the extra 4% tax on the 26%. So you take if you just get paid personally, you lose 30%, right? If you go at the corporate tax is 17, so it's about half, about half-ish. To be so you get to keep twice as much money. Rich people data set. Making it happen. Yeah, so this is why you do that. This is why you would do that. And the thing is, if you die and you have debts, your anything that's in your personal accounts can be taken to pay off those debts. The trust can be protected because the trust isn't under your social security number and whatnot. The trust is its own new entity. That's not bad. 30% is life in Georgia. Yeah. If I make $100,000 in Georgia, what's the tax? I think it's 27. 26 to 27. Yeah. Right, and then corporate tax in Georgia. $5.19. 5.19. So that's huge. That's huge difference. Damn. Yeah. Any person's data set plus LLC. Any persona or personal data set plus LLM. Any questions? What can be? So here's the thing. Let me try to go through it with my brain. If you've got the data set, you can already search the data set for any information that's in that data set. Like what we're doing right now, the information, what's the corporate tax in Georgia, in the data set that Google has, is somewhere in there, it says corporate tax of Georgia, right? So, and it's just finding that. I don't know what new information you would be able to glean out of it. I don't know. I'd have to ponder on it. I can't think of what, like, if you had a problem that needed to be solved, and a complex equation was needed to like what's the age of every person that's got blue eyes in this data. I can't think of what the LLM would be helpful for in that. Like what you could create from that, what you could loop through in order to aggregate out of it. Yeah, I'd have to think about, like, for personal data. Like, personal data is usually used to advertise too, so I don't know what the LLM would be able to help with. Let me see. So here's another interesting thing. Let me see. Oh, there we go. Correct. Any questions will be answered, but it will be correct and up to date answer. But will it be correct and up to date answer? Very debatable. Exactly. So think about this. Think of this. This is the interesting thing about LLM searching data sets and whatnot. So the science stuff we were just talking about. If in the data set you have from a couple of years ago, it says the universe is 20 billion years old, and then in the new data sets it says it's 13.8. But if you ask the LLM how old is the universe according to this data set, it's 20 billion years old. So right, it's not calculating it. It's not saying, well, let's see how far the moon is from the earth and this and that. Like, it doesn't work like that. Give it physics data. Yes, that's what I would do. I would give it, absolutely. That's a much better way to go, because then you can start doing comparisons. Like, how does the... now I can't think of something. How does the... So if you wanted to compare, like, magnetism to the electric fields and try to find efficiencies or whatnot, like, because that's what you want to do. You want to make everything more efficient. I would have it start on things like that, and like by lowering what numbers, would make it more efficient. How can we lower that number? And they get through. Admit, Richard, you need local AI. No, I don't. What do I need it for? I don't. None of these questions I'm helping you with. That's to help you get a project. those aren't problems I'm trying to solve. Yeah, I'm out of my R&D phase. Yeah, I don't want any of that. Listen, I want my computer to be fast and snappy for streaming and entertaining and educating people. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's too much of a resource drain. Yeah, dude, I've only used ChatGPT one time for 2 questions, and that's because I was asked. Like, I Google stuff, like, but yeah, I've only ever used, and I've used the image generation stuff, but yeah, I got the LLM. I can answer questions on how to hack a car. It answers, bro. Yeah, right. Yes. Yeah, absolutely right. Because the data's out there. There are processes out there and patents that tell you how cars, infotainment systems are set up, and then when there's a problem with them, what do you plug in to it? Like what shape connector do you plug into it, and what's on each pin, and what protocol does it need to communicate? So it'll absolutely do that for you. Local LLM is the best if you have knowledge how to train it and have time to find info on it. Right, and I don't have any of that kind of time. And the problem is I don't have a goal. I don't have this is what I want to get out of an LLM, so I'll get the local LLM to work on that. I don't even have that's not even if I was young and I would do that for like a science project or a YouTube video or something like that. Borchell, there's another way easier because training takes a lot of GPUs. Right. Well, but if you don't train it, it's only going to give you back the data that it already has. Right. All right, where are we at? 10:30. All right, everybody. I'm going to go to sleep. I'm tired. Anybody else got any more questions before we go? Okay. S-Corp shareholders pay the tax, not a corporation. Yeah, that's another thing there. S-Corp shareholders pay the tax, not the entity itself. And then you got to pay out shareholders and yada, yada, yada. Yada, yada, yada. Freaking. All right. I love y'all. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night. Bye-bye. 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 Bye-bye.